Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, dear all. Good morning and welcome back to English session. A good day ahead. In our previous session, we were discussing about pronouns, isn't it? Sorry, we were discussing about pronouns and prepositions. We were discussing about not pronouns but prepositions. But by next week's video class, we will be continuing with the prepositions. But in this session, in this week's video session, we will be discussing a beautiful poem by Volga or P. Lalita Kumari, which is a feminist point of view. The Farmer's Wife, we will be discussing the poem Farmer's Wife, Unit 9, the Farmer's Wife, and prior tackling the poem, we need to discuss the framework through which we are going to study this poetry. Okay, let's get started. So before moving to the poem or before talking about the poem, I would like you to introduce to a beautiful framework or a background study called feminism. And this text also can also be included in subaltern studies, which talks about or which brings the light on feminist viewpoint of society, where in this poem we have a farmer who has committed suicide. Farmer has already committed suicide, and farmer's wife is uttering her painful life and her agony of being women in this society, which is a patriarchal society. And for farmers, nowadays we know farmers are protesting against farmers' law or farmers' bill, which has been brought to us by the present government, isn't it? They are protesting it and they are suffering a lot, but still the government is not concerned about the farmers who have been feeding all of us. And in this era, in this situation, if we try to understand farmers' life and their agony, their pain and their problems, it would be very much easy to tackle this poem as well. So let's get started with the poem, the introductory session to understand the Unit 9, which is poem by Volga or P. Lalita Kumari, the Farmer's Wife. Let's get started. So as I said, prior moving to the poem, we need to understand the background to understand this poetry more effectively rather. Okay, let's get started. So I would like you to get introduced to the term feminism here. The term feminism, which talks about feminism is a phase or is a movement. Not moment, it's a movement, isn't it? So feminism is a movement which has been started again in West. Make sure many of the ideas which we are enjoying today came from West, or we have borrowed it from West. So I think in first initial stages of our session, or in first PUC, the initial stages of the chapters like while I was discussing about Unit 1, the Gentleman of the Jungle, or Unit 2, the Schoolboy, we have discussed a lot about the Western hypocrisy over Eastern societies, right? So this poem talks about feminism, which is again has a basis in Western society. The term or the movement began with Western society, and today it's ruling all over the world. And probably nowadays we can see somewhat feminist viewpoint which has been laying its seeds in men's mind as well as patriarchy had reduced its accuracy and reduced its stronger power than ever. Okay, so let's get started with the term feminism. So we may all know that I will be sending you some snaps while we'll be sharing this video as well. So you better understand what feminism is. Okay, let's get started with some important discussion regarding feminism. So before moving to anything else, I would like you to introduce to the term feminism first. So feminism is about all genders, isn't it? So usually people think feminism means it's about women. But here, that is true. Feminism is about women, because in this, we all know we have already gone through subaltern studies while we were studying about if I was a tree, isn't it? So in subaltern studies, we study the people who are oppressed, isn't it? The people who are oppressed, who have been downtrodden, isn't it? Downtrodden, who have been oppressed and downtrodden. And ತುಳಿತಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳಗಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜನರನ್ನ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ ಸಬಾಲ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಸ್ಟಡೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. And we have three categories of people in it: right? So one is black, another is women and Dalits, isn't it? So in subaltern studies, is visible. So we study three groups of people, isn't it? Mainly the blacks, women and Dalits. I am right. So these three categories of people have been considered to be downtrodden, to be voiceless, to be whose pain is unseen, isn't it? And who have no voice at all. Because their representation in literature, in society, in politics, in social life, in economical life is very less comparative to other superior people rather, isn't it? So if we just talk about this subaltern studies, it talks about these three categories whose voice is unheard, who have no representation in political, social, economical life of individual, isn't it? So subaltern studies talk about these three people, and here we are in this session we are going to study about women, and further we make sure subaltern studies is important in your first PUC because we have already studied Dalits in the chapter representing Dalits in the chapter If I Was a Tree by Mudnapudu Chinnaswamy, I and we, and now we are going to study women, and make sure we are also going to study blacks as well. So in Frederick Douglass, and also in the last poem which has been removed from the syllabus, which is Do Not Ask of Me My Love by Faiz Ahmad Faiz, we will be studying it later. So subaltern studies, there are each and every group we are studying in this session, I mean in this first PUC academic, about all these three group of people, category of people who have been considered as downtrodden or who have been considered to be subaltern, whose voice is unheard, whose pain is unseen, and who have been oppressed by some oppressor, who have been oppressed by some oppressor, and then they have been humiliated, they have been not given any access to human life, and they have been submerged, isn't it, or cornerized to something. They have been cornerized, ಅಂದರೆ ಮೂಲೆ ಗುಂಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮೇನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ನವರಿಗೆ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೆಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. We have been studying them. So we will be studying all these categories in our first PUC syllabus. So we are done with Dalits now, isn't it, in If I Was a Tree, and now we are going to study women's. So as I said, this poem is women's studies. So let's get started with the term feminism. I have been already started it. Okay, let's get started. Again, usually it's believed that whatever feminism is all about women, isn't it? So people say feminism and it's about women, women's right. Meninist, feminist, isn't it? So about the patriarchy, it's all about men. Feminism, it's all about women, isn't it? So it doesn't mean that only women can talk about feminism or only men can talk about patriarchy. There are still in our society people who support patriarchy being women, isn't it? So they are all patriarch. And there are men who speak about women's right. Even though they are men, they can be considered as feminist, isn't it? So it is up to their level of thinking, it's up to their thought process, what they have considered as right and what is incorrect or correct. So feminism is all about all the genders, probably especially women's, to provide equal opportunities, to provide equal rights as per men enjoys it, isn't it? So in this patriarchal society, the entire globe is our patriarchal society, right? So in patriarchal society, women has been considered to be subaltern, to be weak, to be isolated, not isolated properly, but to be weak, to be fickle-minded, to be emotional, and all these stigmas or biases has been put forth for women's shoulder, that she is weak, she is very much emotional, she is incapable, she cannot take decisions, she is unstable. This is what patriarchal thoughts have been inculcated in our society so long so far. But is it logical? Or is it true? We cannot rectify it that all women are weak, all women are emotional, all women cannot take decisions. It is up to individual, right? But there are many stigmas, there are many prejudices, there are many things which has been attired to men, that men is always strong, men is supposed to be strong, men is supposed to take decisions, men is supposed to do all the things which women can't do. But it is unfair to judge like this, but because all men are not men, isn't it? It means all men are not strong enough, all men are not mentally stable, all men are not emotionally stable. It is up to individual again, but generalization of these contexts had made our society stigmatized. Stigmatized ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು certain attires attach ಮಾಡೋದು, stigmas, isn't it? Prejudice, bias. But when it comes to women, there are many thought processes. There are many things that women can't do. Women cannot do. Women should not do. Cannot do is a different thing. But there are many things that people say that women should not do. It is illogical, and rather it is not justful. So that's why in West, I'm talking about Western society, not Indian society yet. So in Western society, probably by 18th century, a group of women started talking about women's right. Isn't it? That women is also equal comparative to men. Women should be equally paid, women should be equally respected. All this attack come together to call feminism. Okay, this is what's the simplest introduction to the term feminism. So let's get started with some standardized definition for the term feminism. Okay, let's get started. So feminism is about all genders having equal rights and opportunities. So what feminism project or depict or practices is that all the genders, whether it might be women, whether it might be men, whether it might be female or male, are neutral. Neutral means we cannot consider that person as male or female, neutral gender, isn't it? So there are many different names, but better we call it as neutral gender. Okay, let's get started. So feminism is about all genders. It is about all genders. As I said, it is about women, it is about men, it is about neutral gender. It is about children. It is about women. It is all about old people. It is about everybody having equal rights and opportunities. It demands equal rights and opportunity to all the genders existing in our society. It requires or it demands equal opportunity and rights to all the genders in society, existing society. Okay, now it's about respecting. This is most important one. If possible, you take a note, or else I will be sending you a snap. Okay, so it's about respecting diverse women's experience. So diverse, which means diversity. Diversity again, which means vividate, which means there are different diversity in our society. Like India is a diverse country because we have Indian culture is very diverse culture, isn't it? Because we have Hindu culture here, we have Muslim culture here, we have Christian culture, Buddhist culture, Farsi culture, Bori culture, whatnot, Sikhism, Sikh culture. So it is a mixture of all this stuff together, isn't it? It's a mixture of all this stuff together. Likewise, our feminism demands equal opportunities and rights to all the genders. At the same time, it's about respecting diverse women's experience. So I am Muslim woman, isn't it? So there will be some Hindu women, there will be some Christian women, there will be some Sikh women. So feminism demands respect to all these diverse women, isn't it? So ಬೇರೆ diverse culture ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ women's ಗೆ we require respect. So okay, Christian women, she is respectable, but if it's Dalit women, it is not respectable. No, this is not okay with feminism. Feminism requires or it demands respect to all the diverse nature of women, diverse culture of women, isn't it? So it's required It's about respecting diverse women's experience. It requires respect, it demands respect, respecting diverse women's experience, identity. So we may all have different identities, so it requires respect to our identities, knowledge and strength, isn't it? And striving to empower all women to realize their full rights. So feminism talks about it tries to bring equal opportunity, equal rights to all diverse women and to all not diverse, isn't it? Not diverse, diverse women. So whether it might be a Dalit woman, whether it might be a Muslim woman, whether it might be a Christian woman, whether it might be a Hindu woman, whatever she is. Feminism requires respect to all these women and to realize women to identify their full rights. So, if I talk about leaving the playing field, the society between genders and ensure that diverse women and girls have the same opportunity in life available to boy or men. So it requires it demands the equal opportunity or the equal respect or the equal status as per men, isn't it? So men or boy or male category people have been enjoying from long time the status, the power, the name, the fame, everything. And feminism demands the equal opportunity, equal status, equal name, equal fame to women as well, whether it might be any woman from any culture, from any region. So this is what feminism is. So as a whole, to simplify, feminism demands equal opportunity and rights to women as comparative to men. So this is what feminism is. So here, why I am speaking about feminism is that the poet or the author of this poem is a core feminist, and she has narrated this poem in feminist viewpoint. To understand this poetry, we have to understand the feminism. That's why I gave you a long lecture about feminism. It just might be an introductory class to our chapter unit 9 poem Farmer's Wife. Okay, now in this session we have talked about subaltern. We have discussed it in previous sessions, and this is also related to our session today. Apart from it, we have discussed about feminism. Now let's understand the 3 phases of feminism. Make sure probably it will take a lot of time to understand these phases of feminism. So I will be just summing it up. I will be sending you some snaps or some pictures. So you read it, you just have a look on it, and you will be understanding the waves of feminism. Wave, alley, isn't it? Tide. So there are tides in human life as well, not only in oceans, isn't it? So a new tide or a new alley which has bringing some change in our life. So feminism is also a change, a big change in our society, where people started thinking in favor of women. Whereas in our previous eras or in our past, it was only men who dominated the world. So women has been considered as downtrodden, or voiceless, or speechless person. But later, probably by 18th century, 19th century and early 20th century, a term called feminism has hit upon the concept of patriarchy, which started talking about female rights, started talking about women's rights, opportunity, her choice, her ways of thinking, her culture, and also about herself. Okay, so there are 3 important waves of feminism. They are, I have classified. The first wave feminism talks about rights to vote, right to own property, and it is opposition, or it is against domination of men over women. So the first wave feminism talks about, so there are different ways to tackle waves of feminism. So I want you to make it very short. I wanted to reduce it to the main points, so I will be discussing it in short ways, and I will be sending you some snaps. You go through it, you understand it. If possible, you can take help from internet. You will be getting a lot of articles regarding feminism and waves of feminism. Betty Friedan, and there are many feminist writers who have openly talked about feminism, which might be helpful to understand feminism. Okay, so let's just have a look, just an introduction, just a small sum up of waves of feminism. You can get access to feminism in internet as well. I will be sending you some snaps as well. Okay, like this. So as I said, so there are three important waves of feminism. So they are, first phase or wave talks about women's right, isn't it? It talks about women's right. So it started in 19th century. So first wave feminism was actually started in 19th century, or late 19th century and early 20th century. So it is to right, it talked about right to vote. So in prior eras, so women was not considered to be, she was not given right to vote. But later in early 19th century, women got right to vote to select a person whom she thinks is capable of having administrative powers. Okay, so right to vote, right to property. We all know that it has been generalized that it is men who should own property. But when it comes to women, she has no access to own property. But feminism brought this concept that women can also own property, women can also have share in the ancestral property. So this was brought by feminism rather. So okay, so right to property, and for women opposing ownership of married wife or married women by husband is main concentration or focus of first wave feminism. So we all know in a married relationship, men is always considered to be superior, men is always dominating, and women should always be agreeing to whatever men say, whether it might be right or wrong, whether it might be correct decision, whether it might be incorrect decision for their life. But it is accepted that women should accept whatever men say. So they demanded or they opposed the ownership of husband over her wife, over his wife. So this was what they wanted, they demanded. And next, the second wave feminism talks about equality. It talks about on issues of equality and discrimination. So discrimination bada, equality big one on the demand mele should have the second wave feminism. But second wave feminism was little failure because it couldn't take that much as they thought for it. But they had important slogan for second wave feminism, that was, the personal is political. The personal is political, because until 20th century, women was not considered to be a political leader. Women's life was not involved in political activities. But in the second wave feminism brought women to politics as well, not only to social or household chores, but also to political issues as well. So they entered political circumstances and political issues as well. So second wave feminism focused on issues of equality and discrimination. Their important slogan was the personal is political and cultural and political inequality. So the women's demanded cultural as well as political equality. They were against political inequality. They wanted themselves to actively participate in political issues as well. And the third wave feminism was out of regression that second wave feminism was not that successful. But third wave feminism followed second wave feminism. They wanted all rights for women, especially in married life. They wanted right to have sex, they wanted right to get abortion, they wanted rights to have kids or to deny kids. So this was what the third wave feminism talked about. So many a times it is just that men has rights to take decision regarding children, whether to have, whether not to have. But third wave feminism demanded that no, it is all about women, because women who is going to suffer all the things, all the difficulties. So it should be women who will take decision regarding whether it might be sex, whether it might be abortion, whether it might be having kids or denying kids. So these were the three phases of or three waves of feminism. I hope you understood what I just talked about, and make sure this is not my personal viewpoints. These are all about the movement which had been started in West, and today we all have this feminist viewpoint in our society, even in society or even in country like India, because we have important feminist writers like Arundhati Rai, one of the important feminist writer of India, and Volga, P. Lalitha Kumari, and many others. So we have, and we also have men who talked about women's writing, isn't it? Women's right. So as a whole, feminism is to bring equal opportunity and rights to women as per men enjoys it, isn't it? So men enjoy a lot of freedom, and there are stigmas attached to human society, isn't it? There are stigmas attached to men as well as women. That men is strong, whereas when it comes to women, it has been considered as weak. So feminism demanded equal opportunity rights to both the people, to both the genders, and to neutral gender as well. So I hope you got understood. So by next session we will be discussing our poem. Make sure if you are having any doubts regarding feminism, you feel free to talk about. May Allah make our learning easy. Thank you so much for listening to me.